Hello, Nathan here with PixelPipes, and I got another Fragment video here. If you saw the short I posted yesterday or the day before, this one's going up, you're probably familiar with this space here. This is the side of my desk where my main computer sits, and this is typically the side that I've done all my, I've had my retro computer set up, but I wanted to be able to use it for other things, like my headphone setup here, which is my other passion, my other hobby. And before, I'd have to have the monitor set up here, and it just took up the space. So even when I wasn't using the retro computer, I couldn't use this space for other things. So that was solved, as you saw, with this new mount arm. And as I showed off, it's real easy to just bring this down here. Works better with two hands, of course, but yeah, bring it down, and it sits roughly at the same height as it did before. You see, that's the old monitor stand, and it doesn't knock into anything behind it. It actually just clears it. I mean, positioning wise, it works really, really well. I don't have anything hooked up yet, so I haven't actually been able to try it out, but when I'm not using it, just pushes out of the way, and I think that is really cool. It doesn't look super attractive, but it is out of the way when not in use. Yeah, there's been a hiatus on videos, of course, lately, just because well, it's still a mess in here. And this is actually a new place that I moved to a couple months back, and because of everything being a mess, it's hard to be creative when nothing's set up correctly. Everything is kind of just in chaos. I do have my retro systems under the desk here, but again, nothing is really hooked up yet. I've hooked them up temporarily to do a little bit of testing here and there for non-video related things, but normally everything is already connected and ready to go. So everything will be, the power will be connected. I just switch on the power supply, and under the desk, oh, that's too dark. Hang on a second. There we go. That's a little better. So my Switchbox setup here, the inputs go into here. So this is a input switch. It has two HDMI ports on the bottom. One of them is a VGA to HDMI active cable adapter, and the other one just goes from HDMI to DVI. And then that loops back around the other side of this bar here, where I have a splitter. So one HDMI cable goes to the monitor that you saw. Again, converts to DVI for that. And then the other end, of course, goes to the capture setup. So, of course, the advantage of this being I can play games or do my testing and everything while recording at the same time. In theory, assuming everything is cooperating, which often it isn't, especially with the capture card I have. And I'm not doing any upscaling, which may be the next step, just to kind of make it a little easier, at least for the end that goes to the capture card. If I do some upscaling, that may be a little bit more friendly. I know some YouTubers some retro YouTubers that do that and have some pretty good results. So there's definitely some improvements to be made there. But by and large, I can usually wrestle it into submission and into working properly for me. So this is just stuck to the desk. I haven't moved it. When I moved the desk to the new place, I just left this on here, but it's not currently. You can see it's a mess. Everything's kind of, that's another thing too, is I want the cables to be neater. So I need to get some straps or something. I already have some picked out, just kind of like Velcro straps to kind of make everything neat. I use zip ties here and there, you can see. But I would need a lot of zip ties, and you have to cut them and put a new one on every time you change something. So I think Velcro straps are the way to go going forward. Now, the other thing is the keyboard and mouse switch. Yeah, so I still have a box just full of cables and junk in here. It all just kind of comes out as one big clump, and it should be somewhere. It's on the bottom. Ah, here it is. Right, so this is the cheap, a little dusty, little keyboard switch. Goes to 4 different PCs, so that's pretty nifty. And that would normally sit on the desk somewhere. I think I had it kind of in the corner, which was kind of hard to reach. So I've been trying to figure out a way to set that up. Maybe like I could use some adhesive maybe and put it underneath, or just use more zip ties to put it right there. I think that might be the way to go. I can't have it too far away from the computers that it's connecting to, because the cables I have aren't too long, and I'm trying not to spend too much extra money on like a bunch of extra cables and stuff. So I might do that. I'll probably just put it underneath like that, and it may actually be easier to reach that way. But yeah, I used to literally unplug and plug in my keyboard and mouse every time I wanted to switch a computer. So these things are really nice to be on multiple retro systems, and this even works in Windows 98, which is fine. So a nifty thing. I've got to get that mounted as well. But let me show you the other change in innovation that I'm trying to do for the channel to make video production easier. Also, one other side note, I have these speakers, these Boston Dynamic retro PC speakers, which are awesome, and I used to have these set up as well, but now I have no idea where to put them. If anybody has any ideas or suggestions, I thought about maybe somehow mounting them to the monitor itself, but I don't think the cords would reach. They have to go down to a subwoofer, which sits on the floor because it's a 2.1 setup. So maybe I can get like little shelves on the wall, kind of set it up here and there. That might work, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's another thing I have to figure out. It's just a nice thing to have. These aren't critical or anything to like video production necessarily. It's just nice for enjoyment. But it is something I want to get set up again because I really do like these speakers. Right, so walking past the junk pile here, you can see this is the closet to the spare room that I'm using. And there's a table set up, and this is the same fold out table that I've used in so many of my videos, most of my videos at this point. And as you can see, it's covered in junk still. It's not supposed to have anything on it because it's kind of hard to film with all the stuff here. But the idea is, instead of having to pull this table out every time I want to film, unfold it, set it up, cover it with something, and set up the lights each time, I wanted to have a permanent film station here. And the cool thing is, you got this, like most closets, you have this bar here. You can have a light. This is my old trash bag light that I still use from time to time. Or, you know, you can get, of course, much nicer ones that are LED. And I could have them set up along here. I can move them around a little bit and have lights set up where literally all I'd have to do is set up a tripod, and I would have everything ready to go. I'd have, you know, my other, like my auto dolly, motorized dolly there, and whatever else I need, just kind of within arm's reach. And it just, the minute I'm ready to record, I have a weekend, I have some free time, I just walk up to here and with minimum setup start recording. So that is the goal, and getting to a point where I can have this stuff out of the way where it's supposed to be, put everything away, and be able to set this up again to be able to film has been the challenge lately, and that's what I'm trying to do, essentially. So I'm hoping I can maybe get a little bit of this done today, perhaps, and get back into making videos again, because I miss doing it, and I've been held back quite a bit by just the clutter and not being able to quite figure out this situation and get it to where it needs to be. So let me see what I can do with that. Alright, so just as a quick mock-up, didn't really do any cable management at all, so it's a complete mess, but zip tied this to the bar. Originally had it over here. I thought maybe this might be slightly easier to reach under and access, because it's directly underneath where the monitor and everything is. But I got everything hooked up now and running, including the switcher and the display setup. All that's hooked up to the capture card once again, and I gotta figure out something with the electrical outlets. I kind of just stuck a couple of these mini strips to this bar here, and I don't like it at all. So I mean, it's fine being here, but these big blocks, I gotta get those like short 5-6 inch little extender things, so I don't have these big boxes here. I might like move them over to the splitter back there. It's a mess, but anyway, that being said, yeah, so back out here a little bit. It is up and running, and I gotta say, this works pretty well. Just have a seat here. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's pretty much as good as it was before, but you know, instead of the switcher being like way back in the corner of the desk, it's now directly underneath, so I can reach in there fairly well. And you know, all the cables reach to each of their endpoints just fine. So I've got 4 different computers. I actually use the switcher for my main PC as well, so if I want, I can use this keyboard and mouse to control my main setup there. But I'm pretty happy with that, and yeah, just again, whoa, there we go. Something like that. I can move it out of the way when I don't need it, but pretty happy with that. All right, well, there's still a mess. There's still more organizing to do, but this is a cleared table. Now, obviously, the tablecloth I have on here has to be ironed, and I need to clamp it down underneath so it doesn't slide around. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Now I can cinch up the cable a little better. Actually, I could just move it on there. That'll work. And this will be pretty convenient. Here's a dead OEM 7950 GX2. That just kind of gives you an idea. This would be a more mood lighting setting. I would need to get more lighting for like more general B-roll, but I think that's going to work pretty well. And again, the convenience of being able to just walk up and start filming as long as I can stay disciplined enough to keep this table clear, which is going to be the real challenge, given my personality. But yeah, in theory, this is going to work pretty awesome, so I'm pretty happy with that. A lot of finishing touches still to do, still got a lot of cleaning and organizing, and but I've been here for a couple months, and this has been something I've been needing to do for a while, so hopefully I can get back on track with video production with this all set up. So yeah, that was just a quick Pixel Fragment kind of behind the scenes type video, and hope you enjoyed it. Any comments or suggestions, yeah, let me know, and thanks for watching.